Hey guys, Andrew Darlington here with Veritas Risk Management. Today we want to talk about certificates of insurance and what you need to look for on the auto section of the certificate of insurance. There's some really important things and you'll know about those in just 1 second. Okay, so you have a certificate in your hand and you're looking at the auto section, and the contractor says, well, I don't own any autos, so that's why the auto section's blank on the certificate. You don't say, okay, no problem, that's fine. You say, I understand, but what we need you to have something that shows hired and non-owned auto liability listed on there. So there's a spot for owned autos, and then hired, and then non-owned. They need the hired and non-owned auto liability section done. The reason why that's important is this: if they're driving to go to some Home Depot, Lowe's, Big John's closeouts, something like that, for some supplies, and they hit someone, a good attorney, I mean, Robert Bates is going to say, what were you doing? You're going to say, well, I was working for Bob Smith, the general contractor. And what were you doing? Well, I was going to Big John's closeouts to be able to get some supplies for the job. He's going to sue Big John's closeouts. And he's going to sue, well, they're also going to sue, they're going to sue you as the general contractor because they were doing work for you. Okay. The hired and non-owned auto liability coverage is what's going to give you protection in that situation. The great news is a lot of general liability policies now for trade contractors include that at no additional charge. If it's not, no, usually it's less than $200 a year, and they need it because you I wouldn't let them be on my job unless I had that, because that's one of your biggest exposures. I mean, think of all the times they're going to go pick up materials, those types of things for the job site. And if you're the GC on the job, you're going to have an exposure. I remember when I first started in insurance, I think it was, I started in 97, this was 98. And we were talking to a Subway store and they did no delivery at all. And none of the Subways at that time did any delivery. That was not allowed, but they still required the franchisor or Subway as a whole required all the Subways to have hired and non-owned auto liability. And we asked why, and they said what happened was there was an employee at one Subway somewhere that had a Subway shirt on. They clocked out, left, pulled out of the driveway, and had a wreck. They got sued, Subway, then the Subway Corporation and that franchise got sued under hired and non-owned auto liability, saying that that Subway and the franchise was liable for what that person did, even though they had checked out and they weren't working anymore. Not sure what happened with the lawsuit, but regardless, they still had to defend it. And that hired and non-owned auto liability for that franchisee is what would defend it. So for $200 a year, it's worthwhile. I mean, it's a very, very expensive coverage. And like I said, most general liability policies now for trade contractors will include that at no additional charge. So make sure when you get a certificate from your sub that auto has either own any auto, or if they don't own any, hired and non-owned. That's going to give you, as the contractor who's taking the certificate and using that person as a sub of any shape, form, or fashion, the protection you need. Until next time, grace and peace. I'm Andrew. Bye-bye.